kind of our native claim. I don't know how to, I haven't thought this out in a way that I could present it to a group of people, but, it takes money and access and intelligent, access to information to even think that way, I think. I come from a farming family. My grandparents had 680 acres in Missouri that, was fully farmed as I was growing up. I spent my summers there. I milked cows and fed the chickens and the hogs and rounded up cattle on a horse and baled hay with my grandfather. And, my grandfather had a second-grade education, but slowly amassed all this land over like a 50-year period. 680 acres is a fairly good-sized farm in Missouri. And but it was never the idyllic experience that he outlines in his stories, or that the kind of people who are returning to the land are doing right now. I mean, my grandfather had a very successful farm, but his treatment of animals was maybe questionable. I mean, I could go back and kind of critique what I saw as a child and think, wow, here is a person who spent his whole life with animals, with, growing food, sharing food with neighbors. It was very much a kind of a barter system in the neighborhood. You grew something and you shared it with your neighbors. It's something that they grew that you didn't grow. There's a lot of really rich culture in that, but, it wasn't as idyllic as you might think. And that's why a whole generation left farming, in the 60s and 70s, because it's not an easy life. And I think that that's a misconception that is presented a lot of the time in this kind of